So I was going to wait for Stage 1 of the Overwatch Championship Series to conclude and then do like a punter's guide to the Championship Series. Probably talk about EU, because I'm from EU, and then NA happened.
Is this real? What the fuck?
Yeah, apparently the manager went to go check the server to see where they at, and the server got deleted.
So we had a warm-up scrim booked for 7 p.m. to warm up for the tournament in 1 hour. The tournament roster lock happened in 45 minutes. The other team had a few people leave, or I don't know what happened, but they are not playing together anymore. They're all left on their own to find new teams in the next 45 minutes. And the Discord server that the manager went back to at them to say, hey, we have a warm-up scrim right now, is gone.
Let me give you a quick rundown of what happened on day 1 in the other regions, and then we'll talk about NA. In Korea, Falcons 3-0'd Runaway, and you can guess everything else. In Europe, the entire region was held hostage for a full hour because 2 teams of seemingly diamonds went to map 4 in a first to 2. One map was won by one team, Kingsborough was drawn, Rialto was won by the other team in round 4, and then there was a pause called before the 4th map. For the record, Louis and Co defeated Whooper Troopers in the 2-hour-long first to 2, but it held the entire region behind for so long. The first interesting game of Europe was played between Alspraychek, a team rumoured to be being picked up by ENCE, and Redbirds Esports, where Alspraychek won 2-0. Okay, so what even happened in North America? To understand this, we actually have to go all the way back to the 2023 World Cup, where Team USA main sport player OG left his Discord signed in on a PC. Yeah, that's where we're starting. It's important, I swear. Fast forward, and it's the 1st of March 2024. Korea and Europe have just finished up their games, and it's almost time for North America to play their Championship Series qualifiers. Roster lock is at 7 p.m. CST, and the games will begin shortly after. At 3:54 p.m. CST, Twitter user ViewerOW posts a thread. A burner account had sent in multiple screenshots of players on the Team USA roster, one of which, Sam, was now on Team M80, just dropping the hard R. A viewer verified these screenshots with a French World Cup player who wants to be nameless and definitely isn't Nico. The players were Mikey, OG, and S9mm, and apparently they're the fucking Avengers of dropping slurs because that shit was everywhere. Out of those 3, Sam was the most mature, he owned up to it, he was truthful about it, he was regretful. OG just fucking deleted his Discord server and ran away. I think that man's Twitter is gone as well. God knows what happened to Mikey. And just keep in mind, all of this happened because a French player sneaked onto OG's PC and searched his Discord for slurs. Now the rumour is that they were looking for VOD codes, they wanted replay codes so that they could steal VODs and study them. And then the French player stumbled upon some slurs and then searched for more and found a lot more. But then the timing that these were released had to have been deliberate too, because if they were stolen at World Cup, then the player, Nico, would have held onto them for 121 days before finally picking to drop them 3 hours before roster lock. The Chinese support player Teru, who gained the nickname Teru the Terrorist for switching roles every other year and refusing to play scrims if his team lost too much. But I mean, this French player that isn't Nico might actually have just brought North America to its knees. People are debating whether or not it was actually Nico. There's some proof it might be, some proof it might not be. All I'm going to say is it would be a hell of an addition to his legacy. So, at the same time that this thread was posted, M80 dropped Sam. It was the exact same time because M80 already knew about this and were planning to drop him right when the thread went, and so they did. M80 no longer have a full team. Roster lock is in 3 hours. At 4:02 p.m, YFP Overwatch, a brand new org that has only just gotten into Overwatch, announced their new roster of Mirror, Zeru, Top Dragon, MCD, Magic Mateball, and Neutral. At 4:45 PM, McGravy, who is the coach for Team M80, posted looking for player. Urgently looking for new flex supports because the games start in 3 hours. 1 hour after the McGravy tweet, Team YFP disbands. At this point, they'd only been announced for about 102 minutes. That's how long the YFP org lasted in Overwatch. You can count it in minutes. They were disbanded because 3 of their players were poached. Zero and Top Dragon went to M80 to fill the gap that was left by Sam 9mm saying gamer words, and Mirror was taken to replace the gap that Kaluj left by retiring yesterday. Turns out he was willing to play if M80 couldn't find a replacement, but bro was already retired. His towel was in the ring before the tournament even started. It's around about this time that players start getting quietly added to Hawk's super team called Run It Down Mid, starting out with Pelican. So with YFP getting pretty much completely poached except for the backline, the 3 supports of MCD, Mateball and Neutral now need to find a new org or new team with 1 hour before roster lock. The first person to get this done is Neutral. 20 minutes after the rest of the team gets poached, bang, job done, new team, easy, go next. The others wouldn't be so lucky. We're now running on crunch time. We don't have the luxury of hours. It's 38 minutes before roster lock and SNR going into Ex Oblivione NA is announced. Just 38 minutes before roster lock for no reason at all, and this will be important later. MCD, 30 minutes before the roster lock, MCD from YFP, looking for team. Also around about this time, it's important to note Ultraviolet was still on the M80 roster, but also got added to Hawk's Run It Down Mid Face It roster. Bro's on 2 teams! We're now reaching brown trousers time. There's only a couple of minutes left, and for everyone who's watching, except for me, it's no longer funny. Nobody is laughing except for me, who finds this incredibly funny. T-minus 15 minutes to roster lock, and M80 is rumoured to have picked up the entire Run It Down Mid team. Rumoured. T-minus 10 minutes before roster lock, and McGravy is having a full-blown mental breakdown on Twitter, and honestly, deserved. T-minus 300 seconds to roster lock. We are 5 minutes out, and M80 tweet that they've dropped their entire roster. Everyone is looking for team with 5 minutes to get on a team. It's around about now that a new Face It team appears called LFO. It's made out of components from M80 and YFP. The 2 collapse rosters reforming into one and just taking -1 out from the amount of good teams in North America. The new roster had Gunbo, McGravy and Crimzo leading Liar, MCD, Seeker, SNR, who joined EXO like 30 minutes ago, Top Dragon, Zero and Mirror. They would later rebrand to WD-40. At 7 PM on the dot, roster lock is now. Magic Mateball finds a team. He has some pirates in pajamas. Oh, but actually, face it, extend the roster lock by a full 10 minutes to help everyone out through this fiasco. 10 minutes. So after a hell of a 3 hours on Twitter, M80 and YFP were left without rosters. The best of each roster went to go play for an orgless team, and the YFP org withdrew from Overwatch. Nico GDH was relevant for the first time since 2019, and there was a ridiculous surplus of shitposting online. The next day, M80 would announce their new roster. They picked up the Hawk Super Team, Run It Down Mid, as was rumoured, and that closes out this chapter for North American Overwatch. It's left us with one less org in the scene, and an even worse public image than we already had. So to recap, Nico GDH is a legitimate terrorist who's preying on the fall of NA Overwatch, YFP's pulled out from Overwatch, M80 stayed in, the Swan to the final looking better than ever because they're the only NA super team that weren't affected by this. We found out that Unter has predictive superpowers, roll the clip.
I want to know if Seeker has like any interest in streaming them. Like you said that Winthrop doesn't do it, and I like loosely insinuated that you don't do it because you're all racist, even though it's not true.
We set back the sponsorship saga for Overwatch esports by at least a full year, and Ajax seems to have dirt on just about every single NA player. He's threatening a second plane. If Ajax manages to finally drop something, all of North American Overwatch will be sent into full submission. At least Europe's doing well.